Okay.
No, don't say that.
I'll just go. Welcome. It's called Cthulhu Night here on Swole Initiative Network. We are back with Session 7 of The Hollow, our creepy little Appalachian horror themed little campaign that we're doing, and wow, we left off on, actually not a lot was happening. And I think it was pretty low-key episode last time, right? Like, it was pretty, if shit was hitting the fan. So, we're gonna find out what happens with that. But first, we have announcements to go through. And I think we start with you, Beth. I said very confidently.
You said it so confidently that I didn't hear you.
Does it go to you, Beth? Do you start?
No,
you're wrong. Fired. Norse Foundry, everyone! They provide all of our dice, metal, and gemstone that we roll on and off of stream. They're amazing, and they also provide our DMCA-free, royalty-free library of tabletop music that we listen to here on the channel, including my album, which you can listen to, and I get like a penny every time someone listens to it 5 million times. So go and check that out. Use them in your games, use them in your streams. It's awesome. Also, they're providing some giveaway stuff for us as well. So I'll just jump into that because we're in a new month. So sub goal is at, holy crap, are we at 8 already? It's the first.
Yeah.
Woo.
Wow.
Yarp.
Thanks, guys. Once we hit 30, Norse Foundry have afforded us one $50 e-gift card, which can be sent to you instantly upon winning. So regular subs, prime subs that need to be reactivated if you use your prime sub with us, thank you. Or gifted subs, if you are feeling so generous, all go towards our goal. As soon as we hit it, no matter what stream we are in, we will be doing the drawing then and there. So, yeah, you gotta be in the stream. We don't know which one it's gonna be. So, yeah, $50 gift card. And because it's an e-gift card, we can extend it to all of the US and Canada, excluding Quebec.
Quebec.
Fuck you, Quebec.
Fucking Quebec.
Quebec.
We love the people. It's the rules and laws we don't. No, Ashley hates the people. Okay.
Norse Foundry.
Yeah. Also, all of our 3D printed and custom terrain comes from the incredible folks over at Griffin Co. We do love some Griffin Co. So check them out, and you can use the code SWOLE22 to get 22% off at griffinco.com. Holla. Or should I say, hollow?
Ooh!
Oh, I thought that's what you were doing.
Nope.
But it is now.
It is now.
You're the worst.
Which brings us to the incredible Hero Forge, our brand partner and official sponsor of Fables of Gallia. And all of our custom player minis come from the incredible Hero Forge, where you can design yours today at heroforge.com. We also have our Dagger Heart game coming up with a bunch of Hero Forge minis from there, and it's so cool. I'm so stoked. I know Jay's been working hard on all the preparation there, but
They're all right next to me right now.
Ooh. But check us out next week. Well, actually tomorrow for the Fables of Gallia minis of Hero Forge, but also next week for our Dagger Heart minis debut, which I'm very excited for. Hero Forge.
I have something. I want to make sure that you all are caught up, and on YouTube, we have started posting this show that you're watching right now.
Yeah.
Well, not this one.
This one, as of right now, it is now. So no, it's not on YouTube. But no, go check that out. There's a link in the Discord to the playlist that we have created, especially for this story that we're telling. And I think the first 3 sessions, including session 0, 1, and 2, are out. Session 2 is out as of today. So
Wow!
so go check that out. Right
Hell
there.
yeah.
I just want to make sure I point that out because Ashley's told a really good story so far. I don't want you to miss any of it.
Oh, hey, tonight's where it all falls apart. Just kidding. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. Yeah, I guess we can find out what's gonna happen after we watch a really lovely trailer. So let's roll that beautiful beat footage. Humans have questioned for millennia, are we truly alone, or does life exist in this universe beyond the borders of our Earth? One hypothesis poses that life does indeed exist throughout the universe, distributed by space dust, meteoroids, asteroids, and comets in the form of unintended contamination by microorganisms. This hypothesis takes the name panspermia, so named by the Greek philosopher Anaxagoras, I butchered that one, to describe the concept of life traveling between planets like a seed. This theory challenges the conventional belief that life originated here on Earth, suggesting instead that life may have been seeded on our planet by cosmic carriers. While the panspermia hypothesis is still largely speculative, it has attempted to answer that ever-enduring question: are we alone in this universe? Last time on The Hollow, our investigators returned to the eponymous town following smoke that they spotted from afar. The smoke, they discovered, originated from a giant pyre, upon which Dr. Collins, with the help of a few volunteers, was burning those afflicted with a strange malady that had passed on in the night. He shared that they had discovered the illness was spread through a mucus, thick, viscous, and black, that you had seen oozing from some of the rescued miners' mouths. He mentioned he'd collected a few vials in his car along with the body of Cricket, who had been prepared for transport to Franklin University for an autopsy to discover more about this odd affliction. You parted ways, deciding to check on things in town, and swung by Dr. Collins's car to make sure the vials were as safe as he assured. After doing so, standing next to the vehicle to deliberate, you noticed movement. A monstrosity of what was Cricket launched from the vehicle, tendrils of black ooze emanating from his split torso, and it lumbered towards you. After some quick thinking on Jebediah's part, some tussling on Clint's, and things not quite going to plan, the strange stone that had been secreted away since its discovery in the mines was rolled towards this being. After dropping to its knees in some kind of prayer, launched forward with its tendrils, the stone within its grasp. And that is where we are picking up. I believe we have rifles in hands. We have this figure on the ground. You watch as the stone disappears from sight, so wrapped in all these kind of like wandering tendrils. The gunshot that had found purchase in this figure, ringing out still, I believe balanced on Clint's shoulder. Is that true? You're just hearing just this like shrill noise. But you see, stumbling out in a hurry from the sheriff's office there on town, you see the sheriff wander out. What the hell? Who's shooting gun? What in God's name is that? As he sees this thing kind of like as it's, you know, it's continuing this motion, and you look and you start to see this green light emanating from this figure before big bright spots of it start to come out of the body, almost burning holes in it as parts of it start to disintegrate in this kind of like pale green flame. And you watch as some of these tendrils start to kind of like burn away, and you hear this like otherworldly kind of like shriek as like continuously as this light burns brighter and brighter. Parts of it are charring and breaking off, and tendrils are starting to fall and kind of like wiggle wetly on the ground, separate from the body, before light starts to dim. Things become still once more. Here, small cracking sound. What do you want to do?
I have a question.
Yes.
What we just watched was the stone that the creature is holding is essentially like charring it with this light, and now we're hearing a cracking sound that's potentially coming from the stone. We don't know. Hear a cracking sound.
I'd probably turn to Clint and just like smack his hand away and just be like, Clint, you hulking moron, what do you think you're doing? But you'd probably hear
I think that gun going off next to my ear, I'm just like,
mop. Mop.
Yeah, give me you can give me a listen check at difficulty to try to make out what everyone's kind of saying. So you have to get that 50% of your listen value.
Oh no. 00 and a 3. Is that a 3? Is that
That's a 3. That's really good.
What a hero.
I forgot how to read these. Yeah.
No, 300.
300.
You are piecing together words, but there is just this shrill kind of just like going constantly. You're having to really focus to put words together. But your hearing is starting to kind of form back.
What? I'm trying to like pop my ears.
I open palm, slap him across the face. Not to damage, just to be like,
Sure.
fucking wake up.
One of y'all want to tell me what in the hell is going on out here?
Sheriff, that thing came out of the car.
What is it?
It was. What's his name? Sorry.
Cricket.
Cricket.
Cricket. It was Cricket. Can we see the stone, or is it like encased in body?
There is kind of this like smoke kind of like coming up. This you'd have to like get a little bit closer to see where things have kind of like settled. You don't see, it's hard to tell from the parts that were charred and kind of blackened on the body to distinguish that from the stone itself. It's being dark as well.
I mean, do we try to put the box on top of it? Do y'all hear that cracking?
I'm gonna grab Jeb's hat and put it on top of it.
On top of the
Stone?
The
Stone?
Yeah, 'cause it's a big
Sure.
hat. That's canon.
Yeah. It's canon. It's a huge hat. Sure. You grab Jebediah's hat off of his head.
Oh yeah. He just slapped me, so I'm gonna take some liberties, I think.
Sure thing. Jebediah.
You're
how
gonna
do
take some liberties.
how do you respond to this? Or do you try to fight this at all, or are you letting him take it?
I think in this moment, I just let it go.
Sure. Just
Figuring that he's just in some kind of like stupid mind place. And just be like,
Joke's on you.
Yeah.
That's always fool.
gripping the hat and kind of cautiously kind of stepping forward. You see the smoke is kind of starting to like dissipate, and you see parts of the body that are burnt away, and it is motionless. And you look, and you are able, kind of like as you're standing over, as you go to like place the hat down, you see the stone just kind of barely peeking out between like where it's wrapped up. It looks different. There's along one of the facets of this black, shiny, kind of like obsidian looking stone that has these different facets in it, across one of them, it kind of goes around it. It looks almost as if it's open. Just slightly. Easy enough you can place the hat down.
And I don't get like enthralled or anything.
Nothing. happens?
I'll turn back to the group and just say, well, I think there's like this thing got cracked open like an egg. There's like a fissure in it. A schist.
A schist?
Geology term.
Oh, wow.
I never learned that one in the university.
Well, it's because you're inside. Rocks are outside, typically. The two
Clint.
people with brain injuries right now are just like...
Taking more drugs, laudanum. Sheriff, have you been up by the church? You know what the doctor's doing up there?
I know it. Well, the ones that passed in the night, he told me there was nothing to do. I didn't want it to spread. Yeah, I know what he's up to.
I mean, I think this here cricket, this is what happens if we don't burn these bodies. Maybe.
Thing. All right. Well, we gotta make sure that anyone else who got it, we gotta. Just then, a scream kind of cuts out through this, like, bellowing scream kind of cuts out through the night. And you start to hear a commotion up towards the church. Men's voices yelling, as, like, you start to hear just kind of like this rise in noise. And the sheriff looks up and we may be late. Who else? Who all sick? Who is sick? We gotta take stock. We gotta make sure that just then you see people starting to kind of run down the hill away, as pursuing them, bursting from the bags that they had been wrapped in. You see more of these, like, kind of like tendrils, kind of like, and they're struggling, they're stumbling about, trying to, like, make their way, and you feel fear in this moment, but it really sets in when you hear it closer. As across the street from the sheriff's office, bursting through the door from Cutter Degerlin's home, comes this giant monstrosity. It looks not... You recognize Cutter's trunk, his lower half. You see his arm dangling limply at the side as all these, like, tendrils of this black ooze are kind of, like, wrapping around. But you also see another pair of legs and arms shooting at an odd angle. You recognize his mother's body, amalgamated in this disgusting heap of just lumbering limbs and, like, wrapping tendrils that just, like, reach out on the outside of this house and start to propel it forward. I need you all to make a sanity check.
Fuck.
Don't like this. Sanity. Oh no. I've lost sanity. Oh no.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I passed by 2.
Oh no! Fail? Win-win? All right. The two of you who failed, I need you to roll a D10.
A D10.
A D10!
No.
Does this one look a lot bigger?
A lot bigger.
Like,
As it like comes out of the doorway, you see like it had to like make itself smaller to get through as then it comes to its full height, and like the tendrils it seemed to reach longer on this one, and it has the 4 limbs that do like move out at odd angles but like are all helping it kind of like move forward, and it's almost balancing too on like the extra hands that it has as it kind of like uses those to lumber itself along. What did we subtract from sanity?
6.
6.
Aw, 20! All right, subtract that from your sanity. You are both just like frozen to this spot. Your blood runs cold in this moment, and it's hard to. There's nothing either of you have seen that can, as a basis of comparison, for this thing that is now just maybe 20 feet from you. What do you all want to do?
I would like to cower in fear with his hat and just like press it on the ground like I'm putting a helmet over a grenade. Like just
Okay.
I feel like that's the only thing I can do, and I'm just frozen in horror.
Okay, absolutely.
I have a question.
Yes.
There's a lot of people running. They're running from the other people from the church who are like also bursting out? So there's like a lot of other.
Yeah, they're a bit further away. They're like up the hill, but you see some of the volunteers starting to come down, and at this point, I think you'd see Dr. Collins starting to kind of like starting to run kind of towards you too, just kind of like gesturing wildly behind him and struggling to find the word. As like they're a ways from you, probably like 40 feet. I don't know why I'm using feet. I can't picture feet. I can picture yards. How long is... Hold on. They're further away.
They're further.
They're
Yeah.
coming
They're not
down the
20
hill.
feet. Yeah. Immediate
Yeah.
threat, 20 feet away. I turned to Jebediah. Jebediah, you got those keys?
Yep.
I think we got to get out of here. I run
Agreed.
towards the car and grab my briefcase on the way.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. You all, you start to pile into the car. The sheriff, kind of like frozen in horror for a moment, starts to see this movement, starts firing wildly with his gun. One shot takes purchase, and kind of like hits the knee of what was Cutter. And it kind of like moves at an odd angle, but continues to walk forward. And as it does, just this, not blood spurts from this, but just this black kind of like viscous ooze starts to come from the wound where he shot this figure. But he too opens the back of the car and starts motioning for everyone to kind of get in as you two pile into the front seat.
Can you drive?
Don't think so.
Oh, right.
I can kind of drive. New technology, you know.
I can drive.
Auto?
Yeah. I
Hell
think I
yeah.
thought I was going to get a hearse. That's why.
Well,
It may be.
Every car's a hearse if you believe hard enough.
And I'll also like kind of motion the fear-stricken Clint towards the car as he's clutching onto the stone.
So, Billy Joe, you're in the driver's seat. Dylan
Can I
is
say
helping.
that I picked up the box?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. You pick up the box. Everything's kind of moving. You're just kind of like grabbing things in a wild kind of panic. As Billy Joe, you get into the driver's seat. Jebediah, you get in. Dylan, you help Clint in, and the sheriff is kind of like he's there. He's like trying to look at the others. You see now up the hill. You see that some of the volunteers are starting to be snatched up by these things and just rended from piece to piece. Just arms flying and just like heads pulled back off of their bodies. As Dr. Collins is just like huffing and puffing towards you. He
You ain't
Dun-dun-dun.
gonna make it.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
I'm really sorry about your. Thanks for
I'm
the
not
car.
advocating this dick.
He falls to the ground and stumbles for a moment.
Is he doing the final girl full?
He's gets back up. I think the sheriff will go and help him up if you all spare 30 seconds as Cutter starts to approach you now, like these tendrils reaching out and kind of just like brushing the top of the car. What do you want to do?
Ooh, I'm gonna start backing
Start the car.
I'm backing up.
Absolutely. You start the car, it sputters into life just as like the tendrils from what was Cutter starts to like brush up against, kind of grabbing onto one of the front lights. Not taillights, headlights. And kind of like bending it a little bit as you back up with full force. The sheriff is able to grab Dr. Collins and kind of shove them into the back, and everyone is in this car now. And you give me a drive auto roll.
You got
I didn't
this.
say I was awesome at it, but I have it.
Are we gonna kangaroo bounce? Like,
Wait, is it just normal?
Yeah, it's just normal right now.
I passed. I got a 15.
Damn.
Just as, and you reverse, and then the road heads, you gotta go back towards this thing, but you're able to just kind of, as it's like reaching out towards you with its odd limbs, able to just kind of veer around it and head off out of town, looking back behind you, just seeing this massacre taking place of the people who were left. This thing kind of like bellowing into the sky for a moment before just kind of like going inert and then heading up towards the hill where the rest of them are, and kind of like, again, you just see like sprays of like crimson in the rear view mirror as those that were left are torn piece from piece, but you all are in the car breathing a little heavy. The sheriff, just dazed. What in God's name is going on?
Not a soul in this car knows the answer to that question, and everyone is asking it. But this is going to spread. That's one day. One.
Where do we?
It's leveled an entire town in one day.
We gotta warn people.
Where do we? The closest town is in. Where do we? Dr. Collins, like, kind of like, gripping his knees with his arm kind of over the vials, is just kind of like staring into the middle distance. We have to find out what it is. We need to know what's causing this to stop it.
I feel like it's this thing, and I'm holding Jeb's hat.
He looks at the hat.
Oh, and I'll flip it over like a popcorn bowl.
No. As you start to do that, I'm going to shove the box your way and say, put that thing in this box.
And I just toss it into the box.
What is this thing?
It's like some sort of rock. I don't know. It was glowing at one point, but now it's not. And I mean, those things, I feel like they're just attracted to it.
Yeah, but Cricket came up in the form that he was, not really Cricket, but I mean, it nearly disintegrated the boy.
It's like it sacrificed itself.
So this thing is a means to defeat the.
I think it's a source, and I don't know, Doc. I think this is what was down there in the mine.
Where it all started, right? Geology is not my strong suit. I'll be the first to admit. Curious, though, rocks that emit light and influence people in this way. I have a colleague, perhaps may know more. There's safety at the university, perhaps answers as well. We can head there. We can let them know, and we can hopefully stop this.
Well, we probably got a long drive ahead of us, and it turns out Clint here is quite the geology expert.
I just know rocks.
And you've never seen one like this before.
No, ma'am. This is. I'm just saying it's a rock, just because that's the closest I can guess. But when I threw Jeb's hat on, I could tell there was a crack on it, and it's not glowing like it was before. I guess, like not as bright. I don't know, but I mean, it's something different altogether. I don't know if it's a gemstone or some sort of. I don't know.
What kind of crack?
I think it was like a hairline. It was like a hairline fracture, just like right on one of the edges of it. Like, have you ever seen a? I don't think you would know the term polyhedral. I was thinking like.
Would you? Damn, Clint's smart as shit.
Facet.
Jesus.
Like it's like a faceted thing. Like you ever seen like a pretty wedding ring? Like one of those little cuts on it. Like one of those little edges has a crack.
Could you see beyond the crack?
I didn't really get that good of a look, to be honest. I threw your hat over it, and then all of a sudden those things just started running at us.
Could you see whether it was solid? One material the whole way through?
I don't know. Keeper?
You glance at it very quickly before putting the hat on it, but it's right there in the box if you want to study it a bit closer.
It's full of goo, like a gusher.
Aw, man. Forbidden gusher. Well, I mean, I didn't get that good of a look, but I mean, if you want, I'll take a peek at it. I don't know if it's active right now. I know before when we were down in the mines, it got the better of dang near all of us except for you, Jeb. So maybe you want to look at it. I don't know, but remember those rules. I mean, we gotta like. No one is left alone with it, so we're all here, but we gotta like make sure only one of us at a time sees it. You remember that? No one
Right.
leaves alone.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be hard to accomplish right now.
Hey,
Well,
I don't want someone to look at it and jump out a window. I don't know what this thing's capable of.
My eyes are on the road.
Yes.
The box, does it have a lid to it?
Yeah, I think it's like a little chest.
Like a hinge.
Okay. I would like to, kind of looking adjacent, lift the lid so it's at the corner of my eye and just check for a glow.
Yeah, you open the lid. I think all of you kind of like bracing for some kind of reaction. No glow emits from it.
Okay, I'll fling the lid open and take it out.
Yeah.
Feeling to inspect like where that crack was.
Looking at this, you see, like, this is kind of like a gay big stone. And as he said, like along, it has these multiple facets, but kind of along a ridge that goes across nearly the full thing, bifurcating it, there is just this small little hairline fracture. At the top of it is probably where it's open, maybe an eighth of an inch. So very minorly. And looking inside, the stone is so black and dark, it almost like absorbs light. It's hard to see like what is beyond that, but it seems like you can't distinguish anything from the stone itself.
Okay. Finding the crack, I'll turn to Clint and I'll say, surely you have a knife. Small one.
Keeper, might I have a screwdriver in my briefcase?
I do. I have a
Give
knife.
me a luck check.
You have a knife?
I do have a knife. I have a
I
knife
have-
and a piece of plaster.
I have surgeon knives.
Piece of plaster.
You have surgeon knives? That's even better. Like a scalpel?
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
Sorry, that's my new catchphrase. So I failed my luck check by 2, but can I use luck?
You can't use luck on luck and sanity.
Okay, that makes sense because it feels like it keeps lowering if you try to
But
get
what
closer.
if
and
I was
closer.
luckier?
Yeah.
I thought I had a screwdriver.
Do you have a toolkit in your inventory?
Nope.
Okay, then no, you don't have a screwdriver.
Yeah, so...
You have a sandwich in your briefcase.
My sandwich! Yeah.
I do have that.
Billy, do you offer the
Sure.
fact that you have a small
Yeah.
knife or no?
Yeah, I have a scalpel. You can,
Right.
you
But you're
can-
driving as well, so that's why
Fine.
I'm like...
It's just in my pouch right here. I'll hand it to you, and I'll just hand out. It's like leather and tied up in slots with like different sizes of scalpels in it, and I'll just hand the whole pouch back to you.
So I'll take out the one with like the longest blade away from the fitting, and I will just slowly push the blade in between the crack to see if it stops or if it keeps going.
Sure. You start to push this blade into the crack of this stone.
We're inspecting the crack. I'll say it.
Yes. Yes. really focused on the crack. We're adults here. You push the scalpel. It gets looking at the end of it. It gets probably an inch in before it hits something hard.
What does it feel like? Is there anything in there?
There's space and something inside. I'm going. Oh, sorry.
Isn't it just more rock inside?
I can't see. I'm gonna grab my Bible out. I'm gonna rip a page out and then tear that in half, and then dip it into the hole to see if it goes around, to kind of get an idea of the shape, or whether it's just like, or whether it's just like a letter envelope like slot. I want to see if the space around.
I gotcha. Roll for dexterity, just to kind of like for accuracy.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a
Oh,
crap.
I passed.
I passed by 9.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, you start to slip this piece of paper in here. The page torn from your Bible. And you slip it in, and it goes that inch, and then as you kind of push more, it keeps going. Where
So
you could
curving.
Yeah. And you feel like if you let go of it, it hasn't met resistance as you kind of like angle it like around.
So basically there's space around whatever the knife hit.
Where are you putting in the paper? Like like at the top of the stone?
I would probably put it so that it has the shortest distance to the center. So
Like the biggest part of the crack was at
like
the top.
if it's long, it wouldn't be like at the end. It would be like halfway down on the shortest distance from side to side. Wherever that crack is. He said it goes like halfway around.
Yeah, I'll say you push the paper down and like from the widest opening kind of at the top. And feel that it can keep going and curving around. And as you kind of like maybe like angle it down and kind of like pull to the side of this crack, it does get tighter and start to kind of pinch. You feel like it could get stuck as you're kind of like, you set it in here, and as you're kind of like coming around, it's getting like tighter, it feels.
Okay, but if I like drop it in, it's gonna go inside. Like how far does it go inside?
If you're pushing it in directly, it's going to go that inch before it starts like crinkling up on itself. But if you angle it kind of like around the side of the facet, you feel like you could drop the piece of paper in.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for. Like I'll even like curve the paper like before going in to make sure that it like curves around. So there's space around whatever's in the middle.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. There's something in the center, but I don't know what.
What if we crack it open?
Well, wait a minute. Let's think through what happened here. One of them creatures held on to it and basically sacrificed its life, and then the crack showed up. So what do you think it was trying to do?
And then there was that cracking sound.
Right.
You think this is some sort of egg?
Well, I think that they might be trying to release whatever's in there.
Maybe not an egg, but container, some kind.
Well, the choices are either we let it crack open on its own, or we crack it open ourselves.
Maybe we should wait to do that until we are in a position to leave immediately.
And what if this rock is the box? You know? Like, we keep putting it in a box, and maybe this was somebody else's box. What are we opening here?
I don't think we know. I sure wish that doctor was here.
He's
Which
right.
doctor?
That
Me?
Oh, Dr. Collins. Dr. Collins made it, right?
Yes, I've been sitting here the whole time. We're shoulder to shoulder, sir.
You haven't heard a word he said either.
Yeah. I don't know.
I said excuse me when I stepped on your foot when I got in the car.
Listen, I've been through a lot. Sorry, Doc.
It's all right. It happens to be a lot.
So, what do you think? I mean, I'm kind of still reeling from what we just saw and everything. What you got any input here?
On this, well, I think you raised some important points. You don't know the nature of this thing. We don't have the tools at our disposal to find that out now. I think before taking any drastic action as far as cracking things open, we should study it, try to find out its make, try to discern what it could be, to then discover what could be contained in there. I'm all for the scientific process, and if cracking it open is going to, serve the sense of discovery, then by all means. But I think there's more questions than answers, and you can't uncrack a egg. I mean, to use the idiom,
That's a good point. So, do you think you got any special tools or equipment at this university that we could use?
well, there is a scientific lab, a full suite of magnifying glasses, a chemistry lab to perhaps discover its make. A colleague of mine, Professor Hargreaves, is learned in this type of thing. A geologist by trade. When the glow is certainly that you spoke of is certainly enticing to any scientific mind.
Would I know of this Hargreaves?
Give me a history check. I'll say you've heard the name.
Not my normal.
Or you could use.
Oh wow.
No. Would that have succeeded in an education check?
Oh, 100%.
Okay, I'll give you that for education. Considering that's kind of you would know that this professor is an older gentleman, probably part of an echelon that you probably don't interact with a lot, but is very revered in his field. He is a Scottish man who runs one of the college's most successful clubs, kind of in a archaeological dig society that is like one of the highest sought after like graduate programs, and is a big pull for the university, but is extremely exclusive. And so you feel like this is something that would be kind of like up their alley a little bit.
Well, if there's anything to catch Hargreaves' attention, it would be something like this. I do have a concern that this might take time. This, as Billy Joe mentioned, this happened overnight. I think it's the only option we got, but I think we gotta move fast.
Right. Unfortunately for those back there, but the hollow's quite remote, at least. And we can send word, I suppose, to police, more police, sheriff. I'm not sure if your ilk are ready to deal with this kind of thing. But as far as we know, those who are afflicted are the only ones thus far who've come that way. The disease can't spread further there because it's spread to everyone that there is.
What if they become more mobile? What if they find themselves to a house beyond the woods that is closer by than anything else that we know of? I'll kind of look towards Billy.
Well, that would be a concern. I hate to suggest it, but I think we should send some force back to just burn the town in its entirety. The way the fire was spreading, it might see to it itself in some way. There's no hope for those who've already fallen. And anyone outside of town, well, you're right, I do. They are at risk. But from what we saw, they are at least uncoordinated. Slow moving, perhaps. Who knows for how long?
Does the fire even do anything?
Well, those that were burned were not among those who turned. So, at least before the process begins, seems to have killed the...
How far do they need to have gone?
That's yet to be
It doesn't
determined.
seem like they need most of the body in any kind of shape other than to move.
I suppose that is true. There's so much we don't know.
I remember that Cutter Boy and his mother were merged into one. Could the whole town merge into one?
That is a thought. I wish we had some sample to study. We do have these, and he kind of pats the box with the vials in them. And that it will give us some information, but to have a tissue sample would be priceless.
Doc, I think there's a lot more to worry about than just having a sample right now.
Right.
Is there any kind of like viscera left in the back of the car?
You would
Ooh.
hope not.
Give me
Tentacles on the hood.
Stuck in the white.
Flapping like wind socks. Like, I wonder what that sound was.
I'm gonna make a luck check. Under 50, there's viscera. Over 50, there is none.
No.
Roll for viscera.
Roll for viscera. You see, kind of wrapped around one of the headlights outside of the car, just a small bit of like tendril is indeed kind of like flapping like a streamer. I was gonna say like, and you guys aren't moving very fast, but Model Ts could go like 45 miles an hour. That's faster than I would have thought.
Damn.
Yeah, y'all
On
are practicing.
the world's bumpiest road.
Yeah.
Just
With no suspension whatsoever.
Yeah.
No suspension.
Boxcar, basically.
But you see this, thing, and it seems to be moving with the movement of the car and the wind, but not of its
Not on its own.
volition.
Do I remember when you mentioned that after Cricket kind of partially disintegrated and then parts of the tentacles and stuff were on the ground and were like wiggling as well, did those stop, or were they moving on their own afterward as well?
They did. They stopped once because you
Eventually.
shot one of them off, and it kind of
Mhm.
like, but then it stopped, kind of moving.
Okay.
Once it was separated from the.
Yeah, so it seems to need some sort of
My second question about viscera.
I love Cthulhu games, man.
Is there any remnant of Cricket in the back of the car from when he split open?
Right. You give me a luck check for that.
Roll for more viscera.
Oh. Missed it by 9. Squeaky clean. Wow,
Yeah.
look at that.
Efficient.
It's good
What
at
an efficient explosion.
that.
Like kind of like
Not an
he
ounce
didn't
of energy
explode
waste.
so much as split.
Okay.
Yeah. You saw the.
In my head, it was
Just
like
kind
violent.
Yeah. No, it was just like a
Something's
slow
dead.
cracking, which is almost worse. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been dead a while.
Yeah.
His blood would have been congealed. We're gonna start slowing down when we get to my house because we gotta pass my house to get the hell out of here. Because it's the same road, right?
No, we walked through the woods.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
we walked down the road.
That is the other way.
Oh. Okay.
I had
Sorry.
it mapped out as like your house was north and we were heading east.
Right. Like y'all there's like a road through town that y'all had come in this way and then you left back, kind of like.
So it's not the road we brought the donkey down.
No, it's a continuation of that road, but going.
Other way.
Damn, there's one road and we're on the wrong part.
Damn it. Oh, I was gonna get a coffee can for the viscera. All right. Well,
I think there's a big enough ashtray probably.
I thought you were gonna warn your sisters. That's kind of what
I mean, I would do that too.
Yeah, throw it in the box.
What are you doing here? Ah, nothing. Just grabbing a can. I'll see you.
Oh wait.
I will remind them of the viscera on the headlights. And while I think we should definitely keep that somewhere safe, I don't think it needs to be anywhere near the rock. Just in case. I mean, you saw what
That's fair.
happened.
Yeah, we don't want to put those two things in contact with each other.
Right.
I feel you.
Right.
I might have something for this. And Dr. Collins opens his big case with all the vials, which you hear them kind of like jingling about a little bit, and you see these vials with this black liquid in it. But he kind of like thumbs through and finds like an empty, what's the flask that's like that? Ayler's.
A conical flask.
It's like named after a guy.
Erlenmeyer?
Erlenmeyer?
Well,
It was just.
The standard thing is just a conical flask because it's cone shaped.
It is Erlenmeyer. You were so right.
Damn, Clint.
Dang. But yeah, sure. Yeah, he pulls out one of those with like a cork and kind of like these little like forceps, with which he kind of hands it up to who's sitting in the passenger seat. Would that be?
I know how to drive. I know how to drive a little bit.
Would
so.
that be the sheriff?
Yeah, I'll say the sheriff got in the passenger seat, and he hands it up to him. He kind of like, before reaching out and kind of like pulling the viscera off the headlight and plopping it into the flask and corking it. And he'll hand that back for Dr. Collins to secure into the case. I want to believe that's not the weirdest shit I've done today.
I think we believe that.
Yeah, now fair enough. Yeah, it's the right audience.
Would I know how long of a ride this would be to the university?
Probably like 45 minutes. So y'all been driving for like 20. You got probably like 20
Okay.
minutes left or so. Anything else y'all want to do on the drive?
Well, it's about 45 miles from the town. We're going about 45 miles an hour.
Right. Oh, right. Yeah, you guys are going 45 miles an hour. So like,
The whole way. Like
yeah.
no slowing. We're making such good time.
You see a Buc-ee's on the road.
We gotta go. I don't think I have anything else. I think I'm just in shock. I'm probably just trying to like still pop my ears.
I'm good.
I think every now and then I'll just like look at the doctor and just kind of narrow my eyes a little bit.
He probably doesn't catch your eye for most of it, but if he does, just kind of like a just kinda like a yeah, that's how most people look at me.
Oh,
Fight.
But with that, are you trying to discern anything, or do you want to give a psychology check? You just
Want to discern anything? I don't think so. I just want it to be obvious that I hate him.
okay. Sure enough. You know what? He'll do a psychology check to see if that comes across.
I'm not
He got a
hiding it.
9. He got a 93, so he's just like
Damn.
he meets your eyes and he's like, oh.
nice night.
you come here often. But with that, you all speed along this road, the stone and these files and viscera in tow, as you finally start to come onto cobbled streets rather than dirt-laden ones, and start to see gas lights kind of on the side of the road, and pull up in front of these large gates that open for you and lead onto this campus of these beautiful brick buildings with these beautiful landscaping and white columns, with Franklin University emblazoned across the large building that comprises the majority of this campus. And that is where we'll take a break. We'll come back shortly, 10 minutes, and see what happens next. Oh, hello again. It kills every time. We are back. We had just pulled up to Franklin University. It's still probably midday. All of this has happened. It's been a very eventful morning. But y'all, all of that happened in the morning time. I'd say it's probably like 1 to 2 p.m. at this point. So sun is out, because you left super early from the house, got into town, all of that stuff. An hour of driving. Yeah. So we'll say like early afternoon. But you pull up, Dr. Collins directs you towards a parking lot, an area where you pull up into a spot marked with his name in the staff. Did they have parking lots back then? I'm gonna say yeah, they had to. They had cars. They had to put them somewhere.
Carriage.
Yeah. It's just weird to think.
Lots.
Just
That
abandon
was
them. Like,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe no lines.
But he pulls you into but directs you towards a spot as you all start to get out of the car. He grabs his giant case with all of the vials and some of the spare papers that are in there and ushers you all in to a side entrance to this large side and see these like really lovely marble floors, big wooden staircase kind of leading off in these great halls that kind of go off as far as you can see in either direction. Dr. Collins is leading the group kind of this way, please. My office and the lab are just up in the science wing. And you head upstairs and down the left wing office. He's got a desk and chair there. It looks very cluttered. This is not an organized man by any means. There's not many places to sit, and things are just kind of all over the place. And he sets down some papers in his briefcase and carries the case with the vials in it with him into another door that opens off of this, which opens into a pristine lab in heavy juxtaposition with the chaos of the small office. This room is pristine. It has all of the most modern science equipment. There's a microscope, and you see that's what they had then, and that's it.
Yo, this is the room with the microscope.
Whoa!
this is the school microscope.
But he it's the only microscope in the tri-state area.
You want to see something small?
There's a few. There's several microscopes, okay? But he sets his things down and turns to you. Right. I want to study this substance for a bit. My colleague, Professor Hargraves, who I told you about, is just across the hall there. You're welcome to go and speak with him about the stone that you have. There's also lodging that we can settle you with. I know it's the afternoon, but it's been quite the morning. I wouldn't fault you for needing a bit of time. But we can get that settled and into place, and as I'll go about my studies to try to find the make of this curious substance.
Doctor, it makes me a little uneasy if you're on your own here looking at this. Samples. We should maybe let some other folks at least know what's going on.
Oh! Right, no, you're right. Abundance of caution. And the sheriff kind of steps forward, like, hand on his gun, like, well, I'll watch them. If things start getting all wibbly, I'll shoot first. Sound good to you, Doc? His eyes just kind of widen at this. I suppose this is an agreeable arrangement. I certainly don't want to trouble anybody if I were to go wibbly, as you said. Yes,
That actually does put me a little at ease. Thank you, Sheriff.
Oh, good! Right, well, we'll get to work here, and I'll have my assistant get you some lodging set up for the I'm sure we'll at least need some of these tests will take a bit of time. But Dylan, you know Professor Hargraves, right? You can make the introduction.
I didn't work with him directly, but I can certainly, yes.
Well, we'll
But,
get to studying.
You can follow me. And I'll lead our crew across the hall.
Yeah, you come to a door with like a glass window in it, as you had seen on Dr. Collins's. And this is in place with Professor Hargraves, archaeology and geology underneath. And you can give it a little. To which you hear a booming voice respond. Come on now! Come on in!
Oh, open the door. Professor Hargraves.
With you in a minute!
Oh, all right.
You see, like, you see the back of a man in a argyle cardigan kind of turned away from you. He is he's at like this room is affixed with like a desk, but also like several kind of lab looking tables. There's another microscope in this room. And
Wait, who moved the microscope?
But you see his back is to you, and he kind of like is very delicately kind of like moving. And you see him back up a little bit, and as he turns around to face you, you see just kind of the small little stone statuette that is with the head of this figurine kind of delicately balanced on this body, as he kind of, nobody move too quickly now. Right. That'll do for now. What can I help you with?
It looks very nice, Professor. I apologize for intruding like this, but I think there's something that you may be able to help us with. We just came from town not too far from here, the Hollow, and well, my colleagues here and I have something curious to show you. And who's holding the chest? Clint, is that you?
I'll hold it.
Okay.
Well,
Now,
curiosity is my favorite treat. Let's see it then.
Clint, you mind putting the chest over here on the table?
Yeah, 1 second. Here.
And now before we go and open this, it's exactly what I thought it would look like.
Oh my goodness.
No joke.
How did you pull it out and just green light shines from that chest. I'm gonna lose my freaking mind.
And then we all die. Oh. Well, it shouldn't. Oh, shit!
Wild.
That is beautiful.
Unplanned.
Professor, we have,
Amazing.
well, I don't know how to really put this, but the entire town of the Hollow is, I don't know, how would you put it? Just turn to anyone in the group.
Fucked.
Gone?
There seems to be
What
an
the-
affliction that's taken over the people. All of the people of the Hollow. We just barely made it out alive, and I mean, we all had gone to the Hollow and down into some mines to help figure out what may have been going on. There was missing miners and things. We recovered a stone, though, and that seems to be part of the crux of the situation, which is in here, this box. But there's a lot of things we don't know right now.
A stone, you say? What's the nature of this?
Well, it seems to come in a few different ways. It seems to affect the mind first. And then
People were disappearing.
the people start disappearing, and their heads start coming off. Should we maybe just take a...
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I tell you what, there seems to be something in the air. Some people are disappearing. We'll be right back, friends.
Sorry about that. You were saying about this stone. It's curious.
It seems to affect the mind first, and then takes over the body. But we need some expert opinions here. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, Professor. But we watched can only be described as a massacre at the Hollow.
And you think the stone's the cause of all of this?
I think it plays a part.
It started in the mines, where the stone was buried. And it's not just a stone, there's something inside. Which I think this is some kind of Pandora's box, where we shouldn't be opening this thing at all, but it's got something in it.
That is curious indeed. Well, if it is affecting folks as you say, then best get to the cause of it. Not to make any promises, but I will say you have piqued my curiosity, and I'd like to see what all this is about.
Clint?
Yep. Oh, it's shaking. Oh, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
That's just you. You're shaking.
Well, I'll tell you something. It is terrifying. I've seen people that I knew around the town just erupt into. Well, first they died and then they came back as something entirely different. So just brace yourself, Doc.
so good.
Amazing. You open the case, and it is not glowing at this time. But you see this like black stone in the recesses of this, to which Professor just kind of, his face is like taken over by this kind of like intense stare at this thing. And he reaches into the box.
Nope.
The recognizable stare?
No, he does not look like, he seems like he has his wits with him, but he is transfixed by this object in a way that is driven by like an intellectual curiosity. And he goes to like grab the stone and grasp it in his hands. This is indeed a curious thing.
I wouldn't recommend touching it like you are right now.
Well, I think
Wait.
it's all right. I'd like to run some tests. I'll need to hold on to it for some time.
See,
there is
we got this rule about the rock.
Yep.
Rule of 2.
It's a rule of 2. Nobody gets left alone with it.
Ooh, there's rules with the rock. All right. All fine. You're welcome to hang around while I do my work, but I want to. This brings to mind some. Well, I've got some reading to do. And he goes over to one of the lab tables and sets it down, and immediately goes over to his library, and starts like pulling out all these like different books. Comes over with a pile and sets them down on the table. And, right. Well, if you're gonna be here, you're gonna do some studying. Starts handing out books. And you all are in for a study session.
Oh boy.
But that is where we're going to call it a night. Sorry for the technical issues, but we will leave it on an academic cliffhanger. But
I love academic cliffhangers.
Yes.
Favorite one.
Quinn is audibly booing.
does Clint know how to read? We'll find out.
Probably not.
The book
But
upside
we will
down.
leave it. We will leave it there for tonight. We will be back in 2 weeks, session 8. But before then, be sure to be here tomorrow night for Fables of Gallia, and then next week is episode 1 of Daggerheart. Which will be so exciting and fun to start. But yeah, I think we'll call it an early night tonight, and come back and find out what you find out in our next session.